All right, Kitty. What's going on, everybody? This is Untitled Media, and we're here. We're a weekly podcast. We come in here and talk about all kinds of geeky, nerdy things,
Weekly
and
podcast.
yeah, air quotes for our entertainment, your entertainment, and just to have some fun. And my name's Zach.
I'm Maddie.
I'm Nick.
Yeah, and that's all we got for this week. And,
Thanks for tuning in.
yeah, so. But there's a lot to talk about, seeing as we haven't done this in quite a while. I was on vacation. Other people had, things to take care of and all that.
Scheduling conflicts.
Yeah, exactly. So it happens. That's real life for you. Maddie, you got a new cat?
Yeah, I got a new cat. A lot of stuff has happened. I'm now esports article writer, so
I saw that. Congrats.
Stuff going on. Yeah, it's really cool. I think I'm gonna be able to go to the splits for like Smite and then Worlds if I'm still doing that kind of stuff. But I've been given permission to kind of write about whatever I want. So if I want to write about League of Legends, I can. Just about networking right now, but I've also become a stream team manager for an organization who has teams in World of Tanks, CSGO, and Smite right now. So I've been busy on top of work.
How'd you go about landing that? I'm just the first I'm hearing about that, so congratulations.
So the stream team thing, I'm always talking to people in Smite anyway, and I was like, I saw that they were kind of looking for someone, so I messaged somebody that I know, and I was like, can I do anything to help you guys or something to get involved? Like, I don't really care about what you're gonna pay me or whatever. It's more so about just like having fun. He was like, yeah, you can do this. So I'm gonna set up charity streams for the streamers that they have, and just a lot of other stuff with scouting streamers for them. Like if you ever go on Twitch and you see like that someone's streaming and then after the game it says with so-and-so, that's kind of like the organization that they're partnered up with. So we try to do that. And then the writing thing, somebody just came to me and said, I know that you have connections with all these players. I'm sure they'd be happy to work with you. So I like writing, so I said, yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, didn't it all come to you within like a week of each other too? Because like I just went on Twitter. It was like, okay, I'm writing for esports now. Okay, yeah, I'm stream team manager.
And one of the coolest things is that we got the data back for my article, and it was read over 1,000 times. The majority of the people were staying on the page for 6 minutes, which means that they're actually reading it.
Yeah, they're not just like, oh, okay, screw this.
Yeah, because if you get like 3,000 views, but the average is like 3 seconds, that means nothing.
Yeah.
So it's been really good. It's been fun.
Yeah, that means that your article contains information that people actually care to read instead of just glossing over things, looking for key elements that they want to read and then scooting out of there.
Must be very well written too, because if it wasn't, I'd be out of there in like no time.
Well, what I want to do is try to write articles that anybody can kind of come into the scene and get into it, because esports is still new, but we see high schoolers adding teams to play for these leagues, and like scholarships are being offered. So I want an entry-level person who's never really watched any of that kind of stuff to kind of read it and get into it or understand what's going on.
Is that the whole base of your thing, is informative?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
Which is
like,
incredibly difficult because MOBAs are the worst genre to try to get into. So if you can get people to do that just through writing articles, all the power to you.
the funny thing is that the guy who kind of runs it, his mom does proofreading and stuff, because I don't know if that she's a teacher, that's her job, but I see comments from her like, what's jungling? Like, what's a Twitlonger? Like, what's an ADC? And I'm like, that's actually good questions, because somebody might be reading it and have no idea.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't in my Webster dictionary.
But I like centered on one of the teams that's going into like the splits, which you compete at these to go to eventually Worlds. And I kind of explained each of the players and what their strengths and weaknesses were, and like how they had changed from season 2. And like, have you guys ever heard of like the roster apocalypse?
No.
That's like in esports when like after they compete or whatever, they just butch whoever's on the team. Like they cut people, people go to other teams because maybe like the synergy wasn't working out. It's
Gotcha.
similar to like the draft after the NFL or like how contracts run out and like
Free
just
agency.
a bunch of stuff happened. So it was pretty brutal this year. Like a lot of people felt like there was backstabbing and there's just a lot of drama entailed in that. It's interesting for sure though.
Yeah, definitely. That's quite an accomplishment. So just make sure that, come holiday 2016 that you write millions of articles on Gears of War 4.
Oh yeah. Do you
Because
guys
that's
think that's going to
esports.
be a competitive? Like do you think
I
that will
I
be
don't think
heavily?
so.
No.
Gears, well, they're trying to make it to cater to the esports crowd more because they said they didn't do it as much in the
I
later
think
Gears
any
games. So
game dev is going to try to do that though, right? Because now esports is getting larger. It's being on ESPN. So, yeah, we're making a jump for esports, but everybody's making a jump for esports.
well, I
It's
mean, but
crazy.
Gears is pretty competitive in and of itself. Like it's always been, you know, uh, it's one of the best like team-based shooters out there, in my opinion. So, like, it's like the one of the most it is like the perfect game, obviously besides like Halo and Call of Duty and stuff to like get into the esports. Like
It's all going to be dependent on if they make the game like something fun to watch. I think a lot of people like Smite and stuff because there's team fights and you can kind of see like where it's like that overhead type of spectator view where you can see where people are messing up. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Or like
Plus,
people are making call outs and stuff, so it's actual teamwork. But I feel like it's harder in like games like Gears of War to get that into it.
because with like Gears of War, it's not even like a fighting games where it's strictly one-on-one, like a boxing or MMA type of deal, just for kind of making a comparison, where you can just be like, oh my god, look what he did. That's a nice counter. That's a nice counter. You can do that?
Yeah, but I mean, they could always incorporate something like Evolve's probably one of the most recent games I saw that done it. They put in a spectator mode, which lets you view each person in there and view their camera and view their hit points, who has the better chance of winning, all kinds of stuff like that. So I feel like if games incorporate that more, that kind of thing, to have a spectator mode, it'll make watching esports and stuff like that a lot easier.
I think it's also dependent on the players like who are playing. Like I don't know if you guys remember the competitive scene for Halo, but there was like so much trash talking that went on and like it was enjoyable to watch them play each other.
Yeah, it
Another
was.
big thing that does it for me is the commentators that they have. Like I love very few commentators. Like what Street Fighter's going right now at final round, and they're in the top the remaining 128 players, so they're whittling that down to be finished by the end of the night. But James Chen, I love it when he's commentating. Knows what he's talking about. Has a fun time doing it. Love hearing him. Some of the others, I'm just like, I just swap out. I don't like your commentary.
That was one of the things with Evolve. I used to watch some of the stuff and they'd get these like really pretty girls on that had no idea what they were talking about. And I would just turn it off. I'd be like, I can't listen to this. Do you know what I mean?
The only time I like when somebody comes on that doesn't know what they're talking about is when Conan O'Brien went on
Clueless
and
gamer.
shoutcasted for what game were they playing? Damn it. It might have been League, I'm not sure. Oh
Oh,
You had
God.
me at Conan O'Brien. He's
But
hilarious.
it was the funniest thing because Conan just has no fear, no shame. So he just didn't give a shit about anything. Like he was just bashing these people the whole time, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
That's like I remember watching Evolve and they had commentators and they were just blaming everything on the medic, which I used to play medic, so that pissed me off. I was like, I can't heal everything that happens to you. You need to dodge stuff.
Looks
And they
like
were just
Yep.
like bashing the medic over and over again when I clearly saw that like the people just weren't jetpacking out of the way. They were getting hit by everything.
Looks
Yep.
like Conan shoutcasted World of Warcraft Arena tournament at BlizzCon.
Yes, that was
Oh
it.
God.
Yes. Oh man, it was so good. If you haven't seen that, you definitely got to watch it.
I wanna
It's
watch it.
hilarious.
I'll probably watch that right after this.
Yeah, it's good. He like just talks about how what the floor looks like, and he's like, "Oh, look at these marble floors. Oh, they're great." And the bleed-
He gets a lot of love and a lot of hate for Clueless Gamer, but I love him on Clueless Gamer.
Why do people not like him? I don't get the Conan hate at all.
But like, it's not supposed to be taken seriously, so I don't get why people hate it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's like
I
a
personally love
dad
Conan.
playing video games. Like, it's funny. He
Although-
just kind of bashed it. I watched him play Fallout, and he was like, "Why are we wearing these stupid fucking suits?" And they were in, like, like Fallout gear, like the blue suit from the vault. I was laughing so hard.
I like when he does it with his buddy there, but recently he's been doing it with celebrities.
His PewDiePie one, I'm not okay. To clarify, I'm not the biggest fan of PewDiePie. I don't think he's funny, but I appreciate the man. In like one-on-one interviews, I like watching him. He's a good person. I just don't think he's funny. But when he was on with Conan, there was just like a complete disconnect between their two styles of comedy.
Yeah, definitely.
Really? I need to check that out. What was the disconnect?
Just like PewDiePie, he was like super silent the whole time, just the complete opposite of his whole comedic persona. And Conan was being Conan, and I get Conan is very outspoken with all of his jokes, and I don't know, it's just a little awkward to watch. I forget what game they were playing. I'll see if I can pull that up.
Do you ever watch like a comedian joking around with like an actor or actress and like you can tell they're just pissed?
Yeah, I've
Because
seen
that's
something like
always
that.
so awkward.
Like
take it-
Between Two Ferns.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. I love that.
Clueless Gamer, Far Cry Primal with
Ah, that's what they were
PewDiePie.
playing. Talking
So
about
awesome.
shoving the spear up the mammoth's ass and shit.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. But since we're on video games, what do you guys think about potential crossplay between Xbox and PlayStation?
I'm all for it. I know PlayStation's been wanting to do that for years, but Xbox has been, oh no, we're too good. We don't need to do it. But now Xbox is like, hey, we're doing with PC with Windows 10, so you guys can join if you want. It's our idea. That's how I see it.
It's kind of weird because I always felt like the reason why people got specific like councils was like, oh, more of my friends have this or more of my friends have this. And now it's going to be like, I want this just because of the features. And I feel like that's going to hurt Xbox in the long run. 'Cause
I
hasn't
feel-
that always been its like thing is that more people had live or whatever?
Yeah, so it has its pros and its cons, obviously. Um, it would no longer like if you had Call of Duty on PlayStation and I had it on Xbox, it wouldn't be an issue anymore. We could play together. But like also, yeah, that's the thing. People used to get their systems because like me, I have both of them, but most of my friends are on Xbox. I play most of my games on Xbox. I like achievements better than trophies. I like the way Live is set up better than I like the way PSN is set up. But it would just pretty much be about exclusives at that time. It would be like
And better system hardware, because statistically, the PS4 does have better hardware inside of it than the Xbox One does.
yeah, I mean the Xbox does things that the PlayStation does, and doesn't, and the PlayStation does things that the Xbox can't do. But I mean, it would, from a business standpoint, though, it makes no sense at all.
No.
It doesn't make any sense from a business standpoint.
I'm
One-
interested to see because I don't know if you guys know about this, but like with Smite and like the tournaments and everything, they have an Xbox team right now, like that can go and compete in a PC, and they've said we're never gonna do PS4. But now is it like a Xbox/PS4 tournament?
What
You know
one
what I
of
mean?
my questions going into this is obviously for crossplay, yes, it's cool to play with other people on the different console, but how are you going to play with your friends? Like, how can they get party systems between both platforms? Because ultimately, that's what I would
I,
want to do.
I don't
I
think
don't
that's what it's about.
I don't think they'll be able to do that.
No, what
I
it
think
is
it's gonna be
is
like how in the division you have a code or whatever, or a name, or like in Smite, I sign in with like a specific, like maybe that would be the crossover. You know, you have like a high res account sometimes and stuff, or like on Rocket League, you have an email you sign up with.
yeah, I think it'll either be like Team Xbox versus Team PlayStation and like Gears of War, like Locust would be PlayStation and COG would be Xbox, either in that sense, or it would just be, if you have a team of you need a team of 12 and you have 8, they'll draw 4 people from PlayStation that are also looking for a game and throw them on your team. But I don't think you'll be able to say, "Oh, hey, I'm on Xbox, but Nick, you're on PlayStation. Let's party up and do that," because I don't think that would be
I
able
think
to
you can do
coincide.
that. I think that's what they want to do.
Because
I don't think that would
PS4
happen.
and PC have been able to do that for a while. They did it with Portal 2, and you could play with your friends on Portal.
I don't know. I don't think it's ever going to come to fruition just because, like I said, from a business stand, why would Xbox or PlayStation want to be like, oh, now you don't need to buy our system because you can just get the other one and play together. Like that's the whole reason that they do third-party exclusive content is to draw you away from the competitor to buy the same game but on their console. So I just don't see why
It it could
it
be
would.
all profits on the back end. I mean, if they are looking to have this system that allows PS4 and Xbox One and PC to all play together, if that's a system that Microsoft is providing, maybe it's a cost for Sony or any developers that want to implement that into their game. So maybe it's all money on the back end that consumers won't ever see.
I don't know. We won't find out for a while, and I think I don't know if we talked about it before, but I think if anything about one console and another console playing together, I think that Nintendo should give up making consoles in general
No.
and take their content and put it on PlayStation and Xbox and have Nintendo be a developer pretty much become a third party developer for both PlayStation and Xbox. Either that or just give it to Xbox.
I feel like in order for that to ever happen, like Nintendo's gonna have to bankrupt and like someone's gonna have to buy them out or whatever.
Well, no, because the Wii U tanked, and supposedly the images of the NX controller just released, and it looked absolutely god awful. It looks so bad, and if they come out with another gimmick console and controller and everything, and it tanks, man,
Yeah, but
Nintendo's
the
done.
type of field that I feel like Nintendo kind of, and I don't know if you know this, but like majority of people, like the women video gamers are playing Nintendo or like the kids. It's
Yeah,
like
'cause that's what
that
they
kind of,
do. Because look at their characters.
yeah, but that's like the demographic that they're kind of reaching out to. And I feel like they do like successful in that kind of way. Whereas like Xbox and PlayStation 4 are going to be more successful because they're reaching like a broader range of people. They completely messed up with the Wii U though. I don't know what they were thinking.
So just like imagine if Phil Spencer from Xbox is on stage or something and they're about to close out and instead of one more game they have, I forget the head of Nintendo's name, but he like comes out on an Xbox stage and like you hear like the Mario noise or like the coin when he hits the coins or something, you hear that noise go off or something and he comes out, like, dude, the crowd would lose their shit.
I don't know if Nintendo would ever go to if they were to stop developing consoles, which after the NX might be their last. I don't know if they would specifically align themselves with one side of the spectrum like that, like whether they go green or blue. I think it would be better for them if they were to go multi-platform because
Oh,
then
absolutely.
everybody would have access to all of their games, which everybody wants to buy, but nobody wants to buy a console.
But I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're dominating in the handheld scene,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Like the
Absolutely.
DS is
They're
like,
crushing the Vita.
So wouldn't they have to
Well,
like?
Sony itself killed the Vita, so it's not that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But like, wouldn't they have to like give away basically their rights? Like, I feel like people wouldn't want to play anymore if they could just play it on what they already have. I don't know though.
I don't know. It could maybe unless they have a way to just do console games, and they still own the rights to all their handheld properties.
We
But I
still
don't
don't
know.
know what they're trying to do with mobile gaming. They just released their. I don't know exactly what the app entails, but it looks like it's a rudimentary me maker, so that could go into something.
So I just bought Twilight Princess HD, and I have yet to open it. I'm actually going to open it today and start heading back through it. I haven't played that game since it originally came out on GameCube, and I've never beaten it, and I'm really, really excited to go back through it. But I don't want to do it with a giant ass Wii U gamepad.
That game doesn't allow for any other controllers.
I
That's
have the
kind of
GameCube
surprising.
controllers. I don't have a Wii Pro controller yet. But I don't know if I think so far the only game I have that allows me to use the GameCube controller is Smash Bros.
Now, I don't
Oh.
think that the Wii U was a complete failure because the Wii U has had a few very successful games. Like everybody loves Splatoon to death.
I love that game. That game's great.
I've not played that one.
That's why it won Best Multiplayer and Best Shooter because that game's fucking fantastic. It's so unique and it's so different and it's so easy to just pick up and play. Like, sure, you need obviously there is skill involved in it, but like even my mom picked up that game and played it no problem. My wife can pick up the game and play it no problem. Like it's an easy game to get into. It's pretty to look at. Like it's just a really fun and unique game.
That's
Uh,
what I feel like Nintendo's like just for fun. It's not like mostly competitive or whatever.
but
I
you
don't
No,
know.
know,
absolutely not.
you know what Nintendo also does. Me and my friends talk about this a lot. They'll have a game that's been out since the beginning of a console's lifetime, still charged full price for that game.
That's
Never
because
drops.
it's wanted.
No.
Like Smash Bros is still pretty expensive because it's a sought after game. People who buy a Wii U, I'm willing to bet over half the people who have a Wii U will have Super Smash
You
Brothers.
know what? I kind of talked about this in the past, and when I was like shopping the other day, I noticed this too. Their games are cheaper. So even though like they might not go down in price like sale wise, if you guys notice, most of them are like $40. They're already getting like a $20 decrease than you would pay for like an Xbox game or whatever. And that's like off the get-go usually, right? Like their games
Yeah.
are just cheaper.
I don't know. I
So
thought
I guess
Smash Bros was still 59.
No, it's like 40 something.
Oh, is it? I
yeah,
don't
it
know.
varies
It
from
came
game
on
to
my
game,
Wii
but
U.
I guess in the long run, if they're charging 40 from the get go, uh, they're the companies that do charge 60 on the other platforms kind of balance out with that degrading price over time since Nintendo's is just a constant 40.
I remember I bought Animal Crossing like brand new for the 3DS. It was like $30. Like that's not bad at all. And I'm like looking it up right now. I'm seeing like from random websites that like Super Smash Brothers, like I just found it for the Wii for like $20. But we're talking about like the Wii U, right? It's like 50 on the high end.
Yeah, but I mean that game holds its value.
Yeah. Well, because those games don't really like you can continuously play them over and over again and it's fun, but it's also competitive now. And I
And
feel like with Xbox games and stuff, it's like when they're 6 months old, they're like old. I don't know
yeah,
why
I
that
agree.
is.
And
So,
what's up, Nick?
with Nintendo, since we're heavily on Nintendo right now, uh, what is your thought? What are your thoughts on the new plans that they had, or I guess it's been their plans all along, but what they're trying to do with Amiibo? Like a lot of people are really saying that Amiibos are just strictly going into DLC territory right now. That they're not that they're cutting content from games, but they're keeping content to a minimum to push even more Amiibo.
What
I
is that?
I don't
I
buy
don't.
them. I have no interest in buying them. I have no interest in having those little toys scattered around my house. I have
Are
no
those
interest in.
little figurines?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they're like Nintendo's answer to Skylanders.
Yeah.
I I have a lot of them. I have a lot of Skylanders. I have a lot of Disney Infinity figures. I've heavily bought into this, but I still don't like the idea that they might be cutting content that they would normally put into their game, be it like Mario Party or whatever, that they could have just as easily included and then still had some kind of functionality with Amiibo.
Welcome to the new age of video games, where Nintendo is
Microtransactions.
starting. Yep, Nintendo's starting to do what Microsoft and Sony have been doing, where they'll keep out content of the game in order to make you buy additional products.
I think part of that too, and as much as I hate to say it, like I think it keeps the game like going when you
Yeah,
can
you need
add
it.
stuff like that because
You
it
need
kind
it.
of like you pay something and then you want to play it. But you know what's interesting on that note? Apparently, I don't know if this is true, but I heard a long time ago that Pokemon wanted to do this, like these little
Oh,
figurines
I
and
did
stuff.
also hear that.
And they said flat out, like, no, that's stupid. And now it's this huge thing.
If Pokemon did it, it would have been huge, just because of how many of them there are.
Well, the 150, yeah. But it's kind of cool too. Like I see them and I'm like, if I had a kid, I think they'd really enjoy this because like they're also getting like a little toy in a sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. In that sense, it makes a lot. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense when you talk about it like that. But for me, it's just I don't see that it's worth it, and mainly because I like those kind of games. Like I like Skylanders, I like Disney Infinity, but they're not like my go-to thing. Like I don't come home and be like, man, I want to sit down and play some Disney Infinity. Let me find my Darth Vader and put him on there and go at it.
Well, that's what I was gonna say too is like maybe this is from a comic book stance, but like a lot of people come in and they love X-Wing, and like that's a game where you get the individual like you get a TIE fighter, like specific actual ships from the game. They're like figurines that you use, but they like Warhammer, I think that's what it's called. And they like these games where you use the little like
The
figurines or like
miniatures, yeah.
right? Yeah, like people there's like a really big field for that kind of stuff.
My friend
So
Dustin, he's super huge on it. You mentioned X-Wing. He goes to X-Wing tournaments all the time. And he
yeah,
enters in them, and he comes in like second place more is the last I heard, but he goes all the time. And I have a lot of friends who play Warhammer. I play D&D, so we have a bunch of miniatures. And yeah, they help elevate the game experience for like tabletop games, but video games it's digital. You're not
yeah.
it's not meant to be played physically.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but it like especially I feel like with Skyland is like I feel like they do use them like kids use like my I know my brothers use them for toys as well as putting them in the game and everything. And I mean, it's a really, really cool idea to be like, oh, I have this guy on here. He died. Let me put on this other guy. Oh, I don't
Is
want to use him
that
anymore. Let me put on this other
I'm
guy.
I have to ask because I don't know anyone that uses them. Is it just adding a character? So like you put it on and it scans them and they have their own traits now. So like instead of like in the past we played Super Smash Brothers and we had to unlock Ness and
Yeah.
stuff.
No, so
It's not like you have to actually buy them and then it gives you a new character, or is it like DLC or
so in
add-ons?
the case of Skylanders, it's giving you a new character to play as. Same with Disney Infinity. With Super Smash Brothers, it's extra content in a sense that it gives you a bot player that learns as you continue to fight with the bot player. It can actually adapt to your style, and it just can get stronger than the in-game AI. So it's a way for you to kind of train yourself, or just have like a stronger opponent to fight against. But the functions vary from Nintendo game to Nintendo game. Like in Mario Party, it gave you like a small map that you could actually use for their amiibo mode.
Yeah.
In I forget if it's New Super Mario. Let's go with Mario Kart. In Mario Kart, it gives you costumes for your Mii Racer.
See, the only difference I see in this is like you can buy in Smite like the Anubis pack or whatever, and it gives you like skins and stuff and extras. It's just the physicality for like kids to play with it. That's legitimately like the only thing I could see as
But
being your reason. But it sucks for us because we don't want it. We just want to buy the stuff, maybe. Do you know what I mean?
but with Smite and most other MOBAs, yeah, most other MOBAs, those characters you can still get for free if you play the game enough.
Well, no, I'm talking about like they'll do random like you can buy like there was this like for I don't know how many gems, which I guess you could eventually get the amount of gems. It would just take forever, but you got like a bunch of different skins, you got a gem pack. I don't know. Actually, you had to actually pay money to get that one. It was like 4.99 or something.
Yeah, that's the MOBA uh, game style. Can't think of the word I'm looking for.
But with like Evolve and stuff too, you have to pay to get skins and different maps and stuff. Or did they ever make it where you had to buy maps, or are they all
No,
free? They're
so
all
when
free.
Evolved maps were all free and everything, but you got to think like first of all, your Calyx is gonna kill me, but um, uh, you got to think like he was just staring directly. It looked like he was looking me into my soul. But you got to think though, like games need to charge money for that kind of thing, so they make money, so they can put out future content and everything like that. Like obviously, you're gonna make money off the game itself, and especially with games like Grand Theft Auto 5 or something like that, where they just made an absolute mega ton of fucking money just off the game itself. Like, sure, they don't need to charge for
I don't mind paying if that is what like kind of reinvents the game and allows them to add stuff. Like I'm happy to keep paying.
yeah.
this is
I have zero problem paying for anything related to a game that I fully support.
Yeah, this is kind of when we get into Destiny territory, where it's like, hey, you know that game you bought for $60? If you want to play it and it's good now, pay another $80.
That's like I was about to say there's a line that has to be drawn. Like the Division, I don't know if you guys saw, but there was like a $120 like bundle and I'm not willing to pay that much. I just think that's stupid. But if in the future the Division comes out and they're like, "Oh, you have to pay 80 more dollars." I'll be pissed cuz
No,
like you don't need to buy a game a second time, but I'm happy to pay for like maps as long as it doesn't affect like my gameplay too. I don't know if you guys remember like for a while even if you didn't have the Halo maps, you could still play matchmaking and then it got to a point where it was like you can't play anymore. You have to buy this. And that's stupid.
see, with the Division, I bought the $100 version just because I played the alpha and the betas, and I was like, man, I really like this game, so I know I'm going to be playing for a long time. I know I'm going to want the DLC that comes out for this game. I know my friends are getting the DLC that are coming out for this game, so I'm going to get it too, so we can all play together and stuff like that. And sure, the Division already said too that they're spitting out a ton of free content as well for people who don't buy the season pass, but
The
three
thing that makes
expansions
me
are
feel
huge.
better about the Division 2 is that they didn't release like an unfinished game like Destiny. They were
I mean,
like, they'll add more stuff in the future, but I don't think they're gonna like charge you an arm and leg to play it.
So, all right. So I have a lot of time already logged into the Division, and me and my buddy and my cousin have been playing a lot together, and there are definitely aspects of the game that are broken. Like the Dark Zone right now, I feel is broken. There is absolutely zero incentive to go rogue in the Dark Zone. It takes a long time to grind up to collect money, and I mean, sure, you collect money faster in the Dark Zone than you do the regular world, but it takes a long time to accumulate that. And if you go rogue, and let's say you manage to get up to most wanted, which is the highest you can get, you lose a fuckload of money in XP if you die, and like that's just it's not worth it. Like I
That's
lose.
what I've
50
said for a
grand.
while. They need to not make it as punishable. And I knew that going into like the actual game, that's how it was going to be because during the beta and stuff, we still lost a lot, but it was the beta. So it was like, oh,
You weren't worried
F
about
it.
it.
Yeah, like when it was the last day, I was just like, oh, I'm going to be a jerk.
Me
But
too.
like,
Yeah.
I think it needs to be balanced a little bit, and I'll figure that out. But I don't want it to be like Grand Theft Auto where people are running around like killing you for no reason.
So I ran into those dickheads yesterday, or was it the day before? It might have been Friday night. So we were playing, right? And what they would do is one person they would group up. Remember how we met those guys online and we weren't in a group, but we ended up like grouping up together anyways.
Yeah.
All right, so people were doing that. So they must have been on like a forum or something and said, "Hey, we're gonna go into the dark zone at this time. Let's all meet up and whatever or something." So they were together, and one person would go rogue, and then everybody else that wasn't rogue in their group would stand around them. So they would try to trick people into shooting the rogue, but in that they would shoot the people who weren't rogue, and then they would go rogue, and then they would all just fucking kill the person who went rogue. And
That's
it was
kind
like,
of funny.
Yeah.
but they, yeah, I agree. It's funny. It's a smart idea and everything, but they had like 12 people doing this, and they were just like running the map, and like they would chase, like if they saw you, they would not stop chasing you until you tried to kill them. And I was
This
like,
is
Jesus,
like
man.
I feel like there should be like I haven't seen it happen yet, but I would definitely like submit like maybe if someone's standing in the vicinity of someone who's rogue and they're not like shooting them, they'll eventually go rogue too.
Well, I mean, but you can't really do that because there's so many accidental rogues. Like,
Well, it'd have to be like if you were standing next to them for longer than like 30 seconds. Like, come on. If you're standing next to someone for that long.
yeah, it would just like affiliate you with them.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Would
but
you guys say that? Because I've heard this comparison online, so I want to know your thoughts. Is Launch Division better than Launch Destiny?
yes.
Yeah.
So all right, so don't get me wrong, Destiny is a fucking it's a great game. Like it hooked me. I played it a lot. I put somewhere like 15 days into that game or something like that. And because it was new and it was something that we haven't seen really on consoles before. Um like that first person loot grinder, and like I was all about getting the best gear and everything like that, and the only thing that sucked is like there was absolutely zero story. Like the world was interesting, but it was kind of bland.
Yeah.
Like the world, like the driving around on the moon. Like I was like, oh man, like it's not interesting to like look at. Like sure, I mean it looked cool. Like the design and everything was cool, but like it was just all gray. And when you're walking,
Uninspired.
yes, but when you're walking around New York and everything, and there's dead bodies covered everywhere. There's trash littered throughout the streets. Like you pick up the phone recordings and the echoes
Yeah.
and everything, and it's just like it makes that world feel alive and like all this.
So, like I was gonna say, like an echo is. Have you played it all, Nick? It's
No.
it takes the data of all the cell phones that have been within an area, like all of the like surveillance tapes, and it creates this like holograph kind of that's supposed to be like a scene of something that happened. And the cool thing about the Division is you could either like just not pay attention to that kind of stuff, or you can look at it really in depth and get into like what happened, who are these people. So it's up to whoever's playing how much they want to investigate this kind of
So
stuff.
is it actually something that happened between players that it's recreating, or
No, no,
just like a
No.
scripted scenario?
Recreating story, like it's storylines. So like if you want to get really into the story, you can. But if you just want to level up to get to like 30, so you can do Dark Zone, it's like that too. But like a lot of it's really messed up. Like it'll be like between the JTF officers, which is like the good guys, and the rioters like torturing them and stuff. And like some of the like Division agents went like rogue. So like you build this storyline and kind of get to piece together the puzzles as you're searching New York.
Yeah, so Nick, you play Bloodborne, right?
No.
Did you play Dark Souls or anything?
I played Demon Souls.
All right, so I haven't played Demon Souls, but I assume it's the same thing. Like they kind of give you a very little bit of story, but you have to explore to find the story. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so yeah, all through flavor text or just yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, so the Division sort of does the same thing. Like the main story missions and everything like that, and the side missions, not the encounters. They'll give you story, but like it's your job to go out and collect these phone recordings and these echoes and everything, and just to learn about the whole collapse of New York and exactly how it happened. And like she was saying, like the echoes. Like I remember one, and it was pretty cool. There was a cleaner, which is these guys who go around with napalm backpacks and flamethrowers and try to eradicate everybody that's sick. And so there was a guy sitting there, and he's like, "Oh no, man, you've known me your whole life. You can't do this to me." He goes, "I'm not sick. I've had this inhaler. You know that. Like we've known each other forever." And the guy just still burns him anyways and kills him.
Shows like the brutality of like how where people would go or what lengths they would go to.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then like they have like drone photos that show what was happening. They have like the missing. So you're like the second wave of division agents that have gone through. So they have the missing first wave agents that you can find too. And it like once you collect it, you can read their profile and everything like that. Like uh the last echo in the game is so good. And like it explained a lot. And like when you watch it and you see where it is, you were just like, damn, that's crazy.
There's like
And
sad ones as well. Like when you're at your home base, you have different people in charge of different wings. So like there's this lady named Jessica Candle, and she's in charge of the medical wing. You go on a mission to kind of figure out what happened to like her partner. And
Yep.
there's like the echo of them saying like, just know that I wasn't like in pain. Like they ended up getting sick. And like you just to get to piece together the story that way. And I think it's really cool because I'm the person who plays like everything's Fallout. Like I have to go into every room,
Yep.
see what there is. And it reminded me kind of like BioShock. Like, you know how you want to go into each room and pick up like, what were those? Like the little recordings
Yeah.
just to hear. You didn't have to do that, but I thought it was really cool.
No, because you like I don't buy a $60 game to just blow through it and not know what's going on. Like I want to know, especially with a world they created that's so beautiful and everything and like that. I want to know what happened. I want to know exactly why New York collapsed the way it did and everything.
There's crazy things in that game. Like I'll be walking down the street and a guy will open his window like above me and yell at me like, "I get the fuck out of the road."
Yeah.
Or like,
Excuse me, sir. That is rude.
I know. Or I'll come up on like cleaners fighting raiders. So the guy
Yeah.
who are trying to like eradicate the disease, they'll be fighting like the raiders who are like, I don't know, just
And
like
it's
fucking
yeah.
people. And I'm just like, this is crazy. Or the weather changes. So sometimes fights are really hard because it's foggy. It's just a beautiful game.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did a really good job, and I mean, all the players seem to think so too. And like I said, like there is definitely some things that need to be fixed, especially within the dark zone. But that still doesn't mean I don't go in there because it's still like some of the most hectic fun like I've ever had. Like I go in there with three buddies, and it's kind of like Destiny, how you get white, green, blue, purple, yellow, in accordance to how good your gear is. So when I see a yellow drop in the dark zone, I fucking freak out and I'm like, oh my fucking god, we have to make it our life's mission to get me to an extraction point so I can get this the fuck out of here before somebody kills me and they steal my shit. And it's
You know
just so
what?
fun.
I want to talk about like the things that pissed me off. Like the customization just really disappointed me. They said, "Oh, you're gonna get to make this character your own, and you're gonna get to do this." I got in there like I can't play like a girl with long hair. Like they only have these
Didn't
short
didn't
hairs.
something happen to you? Like you had to remake a character because they had like sunglasses on the whole time?
If you wear sunglasses, if you decide to add that feature at the beginning, I figured like there would be a station where you could change your appearance later on. Nope. Like you have to wear sunglasses the entire time. And I was like,
Yeah.
I look like a tool, so I'm just gonna remake my character. But like I just
I wear
don't get why
sunglasses
you would
indoors.
add customization if you're like gonna half-ass it. Like just
I
make
agree.
generic characters. I don't know why you would make that a feature.
That's
Like
one of
those
my problems with a lot of games that try to implement character customization, mostly MMOs, which I haven't played for a while, but um, the people throw in character customization They're like, oh yeah, that's fine. It'll completely tide everybody over. But if you have like two pieces of gear for like one particular class, that is the only two pieces of gear from like say a level 11 to a level 20. That's not customizing your character, really. That's not why people want character customization. They want to look different. They want to be unique. Not just like, okay, this is the only piece of gear I can have for this set of levels, and I look just like everybody else.
Yeah, like they only give you like 4 hair options, a couple scar options, like barely any facial hair options for the males. Like you can put some tattoo on your neck or your face or something, and I'm like, that's I want like I wanted so much more than like I wanted a huge beard like down to here. Like
Yeah.
I wanted like some haircut that they didn't have in there, and I mean they do give you a fuck ton of options for clothes, but a lot of them are just reskinned. Like they'll take blue pants and make them red and call them something
Yeah,
different.
recolors.
I mean, not to be rude, but I don't want to look like a dyke. All they have are these like
Yeah.
short like haircuts, and I'm like, hey, almost every girl has long hair. I get that it like costs more for them to have to like, but even in like Fallout, like you got a bob or like you could put your hair in a bun. They have one ponytail feature, but why would they not make the ponytail feature for every character? Like, I don't know. It's stupid, but I like to make my character like look like me. I think it makes me like more enveloped into the game, and they're like mine. Do you know what I mean?
I do this same exact thing, so I'm right there with you.
Like, I don't know. It's just like you get to create your character and they're yours, and they just have these like five generic characters. And when I heard they were doing customization, I was so excited. And like when I got on, I was just disappointed.
I mean, maybe they'll do what like what.
They're gonna add microtransactions where you have to pay for hairstyles and stuff. I'm like 90% sure.
Oh, I don't know. I thought they said there would be no microtransactions in the game.
I thought they said there were going to be, or they're gonna add like where at the appearance vendor and stuff, you'll have to pay like, which you can obviously acquire money in the game.
Yeah, I have
Now,
over $1.5 million.
What are the chances of them going the Nintendo Splatoon route where they just give you stuff for free? Huh?
They've done that.
Yeah, well, they said they're gonna give a lot of stuff for free.
I got free stuff right off the bat for like pre-ordering, but
But
yeah,
that's not that's not what Splatoon did though. Splatoon's just like, here, new update, take all this stuff for free.
well, that's what there's a reward center, and it's where you go to collect stuff that they've given you. And I can't imagine that they'd create that just to like have it sit there dormant. I feel like it's gonna be like more of the Animal Crossing route or whatever. Like when it's a holiday and stuff, they'll give you like specific stuff and tell you to go pick it up.
Yeah.
But like right now, it's just like, oh, if you sign up for our emails, you'll get this free stuff. Like go pick it up at the reward center. So we'll see.
I'm all about Division right now, though. Like, it's pretty much all I played that, and I just played a couple games of Rocket League. But, like, it's pretty much all I've been playing since it came out.
The one thing I hope they add, and this might be too much of a ripoff from like Grand Theft Auto, but I hope they add like capture the flag and stuff like that you can do in the PvP zone. So like you can go to specific areas and play like mini games. Like, don't you think that would be fun?
So so is the Division strictly open world? There's no other like game modes that you can do other than just
There's no team
outside-
deathmatch or anything.
No, there's outside and then there's the dark zone. And the dark zone is like where martial law has like taken effect, and it's just like
it's
everybody
like the Wildy in RuneScape.
which I'm thinking maybe that they like want to encourage you just going in there and getting items first, and they'll add stuff like later down the road when everybody's gotten to level 30. They have the weapons that they want. Everybody's figured out how to like the meta with healing and stuff.
Yeah.
But why would they design it for late game if you're already level 30 and you have all that gear? Why would you want to go to the dark zone if you're already top level?
It's because, all right, so the dark zone has its own leveling up, and then the outside world has its own level system as well.
Okay.
So you hit level 30 in the outside world, and then you can go into the dark zone, and you start from level 1 dark zone. I mean, you can go in the dark zone whenever you want, but I'm just saying, like, let's say you hit 30, and then you decide to go in. You start at level 1 dark zone, then you have to, work your way up until level 99. But that's the thing. When you die, you lose experience. When you die, you lose dark zone money. But I think if the way that they could implement like team deathmatch or capture the flag in it is random events on the map, like they'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, in 10 minutes a team deathmatch is going to start over at the library. Make it over there, and
Yeah,
you can.
well, you know, in Grand Theft Auto, there were those little icons, and when you stood in the circle, like it brought you into like a little lobby. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I think that would stray away from what they were trying to accomplish. I think more of like they would say, make it over here in 10 minutes, and then like this area will be bought off
Well,
for
like,
20
yeah,
minutes, and you
yeah,
can't
that
come
would be
here.
really cool. Or just like maybe even like a designated, like forever, like this will always be where you go for whatever. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think capture the flag. Like, you know how awesome it would be if they were just like, up in 10 minutes, a flag's going to appear. Whatever crew gets it
Bring
first
it to here.
gets a piece of gear or something like that. Like, that would be awesome.
Or think about how cool it would be if you went to like what is like Madison Square Garden or whatever, and you had to play like remember in Halo you had to carry the ball or whatever. Like
Oddball.
something like
Griffball.
that. Yeah. Yeah. And you got to play like in the basketball like
Oh,
arena. I
Griff
don't
ball, the
know.
basketball court. That'd be
Or
crazy.
something. I don't know. I feel like they have a lot that they could do. I do want to see more like what you're talking about, like team deathmatch.
But like
I
the
think
game's
that's
still
definitely
very, very
doable.
new, so
Because
yeah.
MMOs have that set up all the time where it's just like, okay, this whole section of the map right here, that is now an event. Like Final Fantasy 14 does it all the time. You go to this area on the map. On the map, it's usually highlighted so you know what's contained within that area. It's like this big, huge boss appears, attack that boss, or somebody appears here, you gotta escort them somewhere else. I think it's completely doable if they go that route.
Yeah, I can't wait until hopefully they introduce raids, which I hope is what the incursions are, because the last mission in the game, um, uh, I mean it's not really spoiler related or anything like that because you fight a helicopter, the last thing in the game, the last mission. And like that just shows what a raid could be, but the helicopter was a bit too easy. But like that just shows what a raid could be, how there's one big boss and like your whole group is like just converging to take it down. Like I hope they introduce something like that because that was pretty much after they released raids in Destiny. That's all I played it for. Like I wanted nothing to do with roaming around and collecting shit. Like I just wanted to play raids, and
Do you guys think that they'll ever go down the route of like I don't know, like on Rust and stuff, you got to play specific servers because right now they definitely have servers and you have to like switch to them or whatever if somebody's like a higher level than you. But where it could be like, oh, this is like heavily player versus player based, or like if you go into this server, everybody's kind of like teamwork
I
oriented. And
I
they'd have
don't I don't think so. Only because I I think that's what they're trying to do with the separation of the normal area and the dark zone. Is they kind of already have this is like PVE, dark zone is
yeah.
PvP. That's it.
yeah, I mean. They definitely nailed something unique with the Dark Zone, and it's only been out 2 weeks maybe, and it's just gonna grow and grow. Like Destiny wasn't perfect when it first came out, but like now it's fucking really good. But like now nobody wants to invest the time in it, so I'm hoping that the division will do that at a better pace. And they've already done server maintenance a couple times, and they've already tweaked a couple things. But like I'm hoping that their weekly I think they said they're doing weekly stuff starting soon, but like their monthly events, I hope are really good. Like they need to keep us invested, or like once I hit 99 in the dark zone and I have my best gear and shit, I'm gonna be like, what's the point?
They've done great with the balancing of like weapons and stuff because I was worried there'd be like some stuff that was just overpowered and impossible to like battle, and they got rid of some of that stuff. Like they were like, "Oh, we'll just take it out of the game." Because they want it to
Yeah,
be balanced and fair, like to where like you could have like what's the best gun in the game, but like it has to be easily like achievable and it can't be like impossible.
yeah. Like they already had one gun called the Midas, and it was an SMG, and it was ripping through people. And they already tweaked it. Like they already fixed it, so it can't do that anymore. Like they're acting fast, which is
Yeah,
good. But
they're not letting it spiral or snowball out of control. I
Like
kind
what
of do
happened with
like
Destiny.
though, yeah, I kind of do like though, like the bullies, like on Because like the kind of feel I get from it is like you get these like group of people who are like, you definitely couldn't kill them on your own. Like you'd be screwed if you did. So you have to rally together with like 5, 10 people and try to take them down in the dark zone.
Oh
That's
yeah, I
why I
love
think
that.
they're encouraging like the people who go rogue in the dark zone have to be like, I know that I can like withstand fighting like 10 people and that I'm elite. Like I have way better gear than most people in the server right now.
Yeah,
But
we
would you
tried it and
just
we
go
got
rogue to
smoked.
troll? Like, is that the only incentive so far?
No,
No, it's to
so
steal, like, you get really good items in the dark zone, and instead of like killing AIs to get them, if you see a bag on the back of somebody walking around, you can kill them and just take it from them. So it's like a toned down like rust. Like you lose what you drop and you can't get it back. Do you know what I
But
mean?
like, so you would have to really just attack players that are higher level than you to get better gear, though, right? There's no reason
not
to attack lower
necessarily.
level
No.
players.
You
No,
can
because
buy
yeah.
stuff. You can do a clear extraction where like you stay in the shadows and you're like, I hope somebody's not an asshole and steals my stuff. Because the way to get it out of the dark zone is you have to go to like a helicopter pad and call a helicopter in and they'll transport your stuff to your home base. And that's the only way you get to keep it indefinitely. But until you get there, it's like anyone's game. And if you drop it and they steal it from you, you can still go after them and kill them and take it back. It's just a
Yes.
matter of getting it to that like heliopad and hoping that you don't die.
Yeah, so everybody runs around. When you first go in there, you have just a regular backpack on, but once you pick up an item, you get this yellow biohazard bag underneath your backpack, and that indicates that you have an item that needs to be extracted. So what people will do is, like I know I'm always aware of who's around me when I go to an extraction point, because if I'm there and I see nobody else with a yellow backpack on, I'm like, well, what the fuck are you doing at this extraction point then? And then
Get
like,
away!
Yeah,
yeah,
it's scary. It's like you see them watching you and you don't even want to extract. Because it's glitched right now where if 2 people throw frag grenades at once, it's one and done. Like you're dead. So if 2 people decide they want to do that, you're kind of screwed. So right now it's
did,
broken, but
did you see that video of like the 15 people at one
Yeah,
extraction
that
point
was
and then the
hilarious.
guy? Yeah, that was awesome.
what did the guy?
He put a stick. There was like 15 people standing in a circle at one extraction point, and this guy was up in like a tower, and he shot the sticky mine down, and then hucked the grenade down, and just killed everybody at once, and went down there and took
So
their gear and
broken.
extracted it all.
They like I guess right now, even with the best like armor and health, like the grenades will kill you. So they need to nerf those for sure.
I learned my lesson the hard way though. Like I went in there and I was like, I got pretty decent stats. Like, so I'm gonna run in here and I'm gonna, this is when I decided that it's absolutely fucking pointless to go rogue right now. I was like, I'm gonna go in here and go rogue. So I went in there and we went rogue, and then these people climbed the ladder and they were coming after us, and I was like, fuck, man, my guns are doing no fucking damage to these guys because their stamina must have been juiced the fuck up to where their health was really high.
Yeah.
And I didn't have high enough DPS. I mean, obviously I was doing some damage, but like not quick enough to like I'd dump a clip into them and still have to reload and go at them. Like that's how much health they had.
Now,
Fuck.
does the division? I don't know if you know. Just kind of asking in general. Does it have level scaling like it does in MMOs? So if somebody's like 3 or more levels higher than you, you do like a
It
lot
tells you.
reduced damage.
No, it's just a kind of indicator though. Like if you see someone who's like, and the nice thing about the dark zone is like there's a 30 level only zone, and then there's zones for like 14 through 0. So like if you were going in and you were like a level 2 and you saw 14, you would know they've played like quite a bit longer than you, so they might have more. So you can gauge that way kind of. But once you're 30, I don't think there's any way to tell if they're like better than you or whatever. Either than like seeing like their gun and knowing that's a good gun. I don't know.
That's
I
kind
wish
of cool how it doesn't give you an indication because then it's just like I don't know. I think I can take them.
Yeah, and then that's what happened to me. I'm like, I'm gonna take these guys, and then fucking we just got our asses handed to us.
I
And it
remember one
sucks.
time I accidentally went rogue. I might have talked about this before, but I was just running. I was so scared and I was in this alley cornered and this guy was like, I'm gonna kill you, but leave your stuff as a lesson. He's like, don't be an asshole, and he kills me and then runs away. I was like, oh my god, and he freaking left my stuff too. He was like the police of the division.
Oh god. And what's even better is you can put. I've seen people running around, and I've even done it with a couple of my friends. We'll put the cop outfits on, and just run around hunting rogue people, and it's hilarious because you just see a bunch of police like running around. Fucking,
What did you learn?
Yeah.
I feel like the thing with rogues is that there'll always be assholes. Like, they don't care about losing stuff.
No.
But there's always going to be those kids that like do it. So it's kind of balanced in the sense that the people who would have been on the fence about doing that are just hunting like the assholes now.
Yeah, it's definitely a great game, and I'm really looking forward to how they build and make it better and everything. There was another thing I was gonna play this week, but then I found out you had to pay $20 for it. Well, $20 to get into the early access for it. So there's a new MOBA coming out on PlayStation called Paragon by Epic Games.
Oh yeah.
And
Never mind.
and I love Gears of War, and Epic made Gears. I was like, oh, that seems cool. I looked up videos. It looks kind of cool and everything. And they were like, oh, get early access. In my email, I was like, sweet. And I just clicked it, and they were like, pay $20 and you'll get early access. And I'm like, absolutely not.
Unless you get invited. Hey.
Did you get invited to play?
Yeah.
How was it? Did you play it at all?
No.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah. That's like everybody on my Twitter. I'm like, oh my god, screw you guys.
Yeah, so like it looks pretty cool, and it's like it looks like it plays different than Smite, which excites me because fuck that fucking game. But
See, I was
watching
too busy.
you guys running just one by one in the arena and just getting smoked. That's like the highlight of my gaming career. I just stood back and watched as each of you went in.
see now I like playing it to have fun, and like I don't go in like I won't go into
There
Smite.
is no fun in MOBAs, only pain.
Like
Yeah.
I go in there and I'm like I don't care if I die a lot. I mean I'll swear a lot and cuss a lot and sound angry if I die a lot, but I'm still having fun. Like I'll go in there and like I don't mind doing that, but like I don't know, like Maddie, I don't know if you guys like only play seriously, but like I'd feel bad like joining your guys' group and then just fucking absolutely sucking major ass
The
at it.
shitty thing about Smite, and something that I feel like they should implement, is the biggest learning curve is like figuring out what each of the characters' abilities are. And it should honestly be like where if you're below a certain level, your pool of gods versus who you're playing is only like 12. So like you
Well,
go into a
that's kind
game,
of what
there's
they
only
do,
12
though.
gods. But like Zach can play with me, and I can play anyone, and we can go into an arena and play against like
I
any
see what you're saying.
character. But it should be locked where like, okay, there's a level 2 in the party. You can only play these like 12 characters. They're a game type where like
But you
can
never
only
know,
play as-
because somebody could be really good with a hard like skill level character, but suck with a completely like rookie ranked
But that would
rookie ranked
still-
level.
That would still, your learning curve, like you would only be around like 12 different gods. So like even if somebody was really good, you'd still be learning because you'd know like, oh, they have these 3 abilities and this is their ultimate. You know what I mean? Kind of like
Well,
just repetitive teaching.
Something that a lot of Moby, I cannot talk right now. Something that a lot of MOBA players have been wanting League, Smite, and all MOBAs across the board to implement is pretty much like almost like a training mode, as opposed to playing a full game against players where you might get wrecked playing
Yeah.
a new champion, or even bot games, which can take forever, and you just want to jump in real quick, see if you like the character's abilities and you want to take that character further, then jump right out. But League's just straight up, nope. You want to play against people.
They need to like encourage, like, I don't know, maybe getting XP against bots and stuff, because that was the hardest thing for me. How many gods are there?
Quite a
A
few.
lot, and there's even more League
Yeah.
characters, so...
You have to learn over 60 characters or whatever it is, and what each of their 3 abilities do and what their ultimate is. And you're going into a game and you don't know that like they'll stun you. Like Zach's running around like, I don't know why I can't move, or like what just happened? And it's because like the game doesn't teach you at all. And it's not like there's a pop-up that comes up and says like so-and-so's ultimate is this and this is what it does. Like you have to individually go through each character and read that stuff, and no one's gonna do that. Like I didn't do that.
You
I
know what
just
would
learned
make
the
me
hard
buy
way.
Smite?
What?
Is if Batman.
If Batman,
Batman is not a god. Yeah.
Batman is a god. Okay.
Would you buy it if like Jesus Christ became a god in the game, or like Muhammad?
That
would
would
be- that would
be
be awesome.
hilarious, actually.
We were
But-
talking about what their ultimates would be and stuff. Like if you were Jesus, would he like resurrect himself like when he was about to die and do like area damage?
I
in the
feel like that
process?
would not go over well. Like people would be like, "Oh, you're gonna have this god kill Jesus Christ? Never in a million years. I don't like."
Hyra,
this."
if Muhammad was a freaking character, there would be like terrorist attacks.
The Hyra's office would be no more.
Yeah, for sure. Like, what would he do? Just bomb people? Just kidding, but really.
Oh.
No, Jesus would like walk on water, like
Got
how
him.
Hebo does. I don't know. Would he heal people? Would he be like the power
Miracle
of Christ
healer.
compels you?
Like,
He
he would
would
have
construct churches and then take all your money.
Like he'd have 10 seconds to go over to a dead body.
He'd steal your gold. He'd put a freaking pot out and be like, "Give
It
me your
just siphons.
gold."
If you're in, if a certain radius, it just siphons your money away.
When he walks up to the gold fury, he's just like, "It's mine." Oh my
Insta kills the
God.
Gold Fury.
It's awful. That's funny though.
She's
Yeah,
like the main
somebody was
boss.
telling me that they should, and I was like, no, they add mythological gods for a reason. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna add legitimate gods, unless the spaghetti monster.
Yeah, I was just
Why
gonna
not?
say, anybody else want the flying spaghetti
Just
monster?
like flying around. What would he do? He'd be like Sylvanas. He'd like pull you in with this noodle.
Then he'll drench you in sauce for damage over time damage because it's burning hot.
It's like boiling sauce. Oh no.
Anyways,
We're gonna have to tell Hi-Res.
this week, did you guys get your tickets yet?
No.
No, I have not.
Oh my god.
I don't think it's gonna be sold out. I don't know.
Exit out of this.
Like
Click
March
escape. I want you to go to fandango.com right now. Shout out to them, and get your goddamn Batman vs Superman movie tickets.
Oh no.
Is
I'm gonna go.
is Deadpool still in theaters? Because I still
Yes.
haven't seen that.
Oh god.
It is.
I was gonna say too, I saw the new Cloverfield movie. Have you
Ooh,
guys
how
heard
was it?
It was one of the best horror movies I've seen in a long time. That's like
Good.
the only reason why I'm saying anything. It's interesting. I think it's J.J. Abrams who did it, but
He
Yeah.
produced it. Yeah.
he said he wanted it to be like not because people want to ask if it's like the first movie. No, he wants it to be like the
It's
Cloverfield
standalone.
name, like
Yeah.
a Twilight Zone type thing. So it's all about like this alien takeover, but vastly different experiences. So like without
So
giving
does it
away
have-
too much, this takes place in a bunker.
Yeah.
And it's more so like their tagline is like monsters can come in all forms. So like you have these people in the bunker and you don't know who's really like a shitty person or crazy. Do you know what I mean?
Does
Yeah.
it have anything to do with the first Cloverfield?
Well, yeah, it's the same. Like what they want to do is say like this is the timeline. Like the aliens came to Earth and this happened, right? But these people aren't in New York City or wherever that took place. They're in the farmland in a bunker.
Yeah.
And this is what happened at the same time as that stuff was going on, but
Alright,
like
cool.
here and with these characters. So like,
I heard John
Apparently-
Goodman puts on like
yeah, he's
fucking
really
awesome
good in it.
performance.
Apparently, this movie wasn't anything Cloverfield related, but like Abrams heard about it and he was like, we can tie in some stuff to make it so where like it is Cloverfield related, which they did in a few scenes, which is interesting because like it is kind of cool to think about this like giant destruction. What would it even be called? Like this thing that happened in New York and what happened around the world during that time.
I think that's a smart move of him, even though it's probably not the better move to play, is to tie a well-known movie franchise name to it, because a lot of people will not go see like smaller new horror movies because they're like, oh, it's gonna be terrible. So if he linked the name to it just for the push in views, and it's
Yeah.
doing really well. Good on him.
Well, people already know now that it's like an alien movie and like about kind of like an apocalypse that's happening. Do you know what I mean? And people are interested in that stuff. That's why Godzilla has been so big. That's why Pacific Rim was so big. Like, it's just a really good marketing scheme, I feel like.
Got to be
I don't
fighting
know.
all them kaiju.
It was creepy though, for sure. I like it's got really high ratings, but it kind of like is messed up in a different way than like the people getting attacked. Like you questioning human ability to do like messed up things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like a
I really want to see
psychological
it.
thriller. Yeah, it's really good. It gets crazy. That I don't want to give away anything, but you have to check it out. Go watch.
Yeah, that's one movie I definitely intend on seeing because I've heard nothing but good things about it.
You know what else
I
you're
think
gonna
it's
hear
the
nothing
girl
but
from
good things
Scott
about?
Pilgrim too. What'd you say, Zach?
I said, you know what else you're gonna hear nothing but good things about?
Batman.
Not Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, Batman vs
If they
Superman.
make the Justice League in that movie, I'm gonna be so stoked.
Well, they do. It's Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice.
I mean, it still might not happen. Knowing movies nowadays, they're like, oh, we're gonna make 4 different movies, but it's all one giant arc, like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. Lord of the
I,
Rings did okay, but The
I'm
Hobbit,
just, I'm so ready to see fucking Aquaman in this movie.
me
I'm
too.
so
He's
ready.
the beast. How do you guys feel about the new Spider-Man? Like, it was only a
Oh
few seconds,
yeah.
but
All right, that whole trailer was pure fucking gold. That trailer was like you could one of the best trailers I've seen in such a long time. Like it was so well done. And then like when he yelled Underoos, dude, I was like, you fucking are so good. And there's criticism on the suit and everything and the moving eyes and everything, but I think
that's
it's
what
fucking
people
awesome.
keep coming into the comic book store like complaining about that, and then people who have been reading the comics forever are like, that's how Spider-Man's like always been. Like his eyes moved with the costume.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
they
I
just
don't care
finally
too
had
much
the
about the
CGI to do
eyes.
it.
Yeah, the suit design is a little different, but the suit is always different in every new iteration. So
yeah. People are just like, oh, I like the Tobey Maguire suit, or oh, I like the fucking Andrew Garfield suit. I don't want anything else. Just give me back that.
You know
It's
what
like,
pisses me off? If my dad watches this, like it's people like you, Dad, that are like, why is Spider-Man in another movie? He already fucking has 3 other ones. Like
oh
the
yeah.
one Andrew Garfield portrayed is different than the one Tobey Maguire portrayed. They are different books. They are different people in a sense. Like they have different personalities.
And you
It's
know
still
what's awesome?
Spider-Man, but they're different.
So he's actually played by a teenager and not some 28-year-old pretending to be a teenager. Like,
That's what I'm happy about too, because like I think I was about to say like the people who are confused will just be like, "Oh, it's young Spider-Man." Do you know what I mean? Like him
yes, it's
before the
11-year-old
later
Spider-Man.
movies.
yeah,
Yeah.
like people were like, "Oh, he sounds too young and everything." Like, he's not supposed to be old. He's not supposed to be fucking 28. He's supposed to be a teenager. It makes sense.
I
Like,
think he's gonna reach out to the like kids watching that kind of stuff, or the kids who are in like middle school, high school, and we don't need to bitch because we already have like all the other guys like Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, like they're older. So we
so
kind of people to identify with.
so my question is like I wonder when that takes place in the movie. Like, how much is he actually gonna be in? Is he gonna fight at all? Is he gonna
I
do
can't answer
anything?
that. I'm not
Yeah.
giving
That
anything.
that was my next question. Between both Batman versus Superman and the Avengers, like I know for like when, not the Avengers, Civil War, when like the Expendables came out and they're like, oh yeah, we got this huge cast, and then you're like, oh well, that guy's my favorite and that guy's my favorite, but he didn't get nearly as much screen time as that guy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be for sure the like main characters will get the most, and like I will say that in the comics, Spider-Man has a pretty big role. So it's up to them how they want to do that. Do you know what I mean?
So the best part of that trailer wasn't even wasn't even Spider-Man. Although it was badass. But like the best part of that trailer was Bucky riding the motorcycle and fucking Black Panther hauling ass to take that motorcycle down, dude. That was the best part of that trailer. I was like, damn. And I just can't wait to see him fucking go at it, man.
Who are you
He's
guys
so
siding
awesome.
with?
Uh,
Iron Man or Cap?
all right, so
I-
like I understand both sides. Like I understand that, these superheroes are running around and
I mean, don't say what it's about. Have we said what it's about yet? I
yeah,
don't
they
know.
said it in the trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, so General Ross comes in, who I think I know he's like Secretary of State or something like that. So General Ross comes in and he says, you guys are running around and look at Sokovia, look at New York, and look at wherever Civil War. I mean, not wherever Winter Soldier took place. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But so where the helicarrier fell, they were like, look at all this damage that you guys are causing, and no one's holding you accountable for it. You're just running around, just doing it because you can. So I understand the aspect of Iron Man's side and General Ross's side with it, like somebody needs to hold you accountable for this. Like you need to, you know, uh, you know, I said it a million times, but be held accountable for your actions. And then Cap side's like, well, I'm not going to stand by and let fucking something like
People
Ultron
take over
happen.
the world.
Yeah, and I'm just not going to do anything about it because you don't want to cause property damage or
I guess I'm
possible
gonna say
casualties.
what the plot is, like without giving anything away, but Iron Man wants all of these people to give their identities up and sign up and say, like, I'm a superhero and I'm gonna serve you, like the government. And Captain America is like, no, it's my human right to want to keep my identity a secret and to not like serve anyone. Like, I'm free in the United States because obviously he came from a different time period. So there's this clash, do you know what I mean? Between like this corporate, like, I believe everybody has to like sign up and everything needs to be orderly and like detailed. And this guy who's like kind of representing the Constitution in a way and saying like, no, you can't take away my freedoms.
The only
That's
thing
what
that-
I get from it. But
The
I
only
like
thing that-
Captain America, so
The only thing that sucks though is like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, pretty much nobody has a secret identity. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, everybody
Well,
knows who's
also
who.
I think it also entails like saying where they are at any given time, having to go on like missions, like the government saying like you need to do this.
yeah.
But somebody shouldn't be obligated to just drop whatever they're doing just to go fight a conflict on behalf of the government, because
Well, it
that's
comes
completely
down
up
to
to
the
them.
draft. What do you like? Do you think that's something that we all have to sign up for, or I don't know. Like I don't know those. Like it's just something that a lot of people are divided on.
Well,
I-
it's kind of like you have your army, and yes, if you're in war and they institute a draft, you're obligated. But it's like in this case, it's like you're having an army, but of superheroes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like for this movie, since it's not so much about secret identities, it's just about the damage that's been done in
Well, I know Peter Parker usually keeps his identity secret, right?
I mean, yeah, to an extent, if you read the Civil War comics, then
And I think
obviously.
if we're reading, like, I think if we're reading into like what because I know a lot of different tropes have happened in books, but I think some people do kind of still have their identity. Like,
In the comics, yeah, absolutely. But in the movies, like the only one I don't recall if they know who Captain America is, but like no one knows who Spider-Man is as far as we know in this.
I think they know who he is because there was the ending to the movie where at the Smithsonian there was the entire like history of him in the military. Remember?
Oh, that's
And
right.
like Bucky was there, so people do know. But
So then
is
it's
that like
Spider-Man.
something that you have to, if you have superpowers, you have to go to the government, you have to tell them, and you have to tell them who you are? Is that like something that's right?
I don't think so because then that means that like people like since they're in the same universe, people like Daredevil would have to come forward and say who he is. People like Jessica Jones, she'd have to tell everybody that she has powers and she doesn't want to do that. So like since that's all in the same universe, it would extend to that and obviously not They don't want to do that. So
But is there like, then there's the Iron Man perspective that's like, we're not going to do anything bad. You just have to trust us. Like, we're going
But
to
he
keep
can't
everything
guarantee that.
confidential. Yeah, that's what's like kind of weird. But
can't.
you have to understand, he comes from like a business perspective. Like, we have to keep the public happy. We need to look good.
But can
You
you
know what I
trust the
mean?
Red Hulk? That's the question.
So I'm not 100% on the comic book universes, but doesn't the since all the worlds are connected, but again, there's different universes, so I don't know. Does the events of Civil War at all lead into Days of Future Past? Because that kind of seems like it's a thing that goes hand in hand. If everybody's registered, then it kind of leads into Days of Future Past, where the Sentinels know where and who all the mutants are.
I've
I'm
never
looking
I've
that
never
up.
yeah, I've never read into that connection and everything. I didn't read all the tie-ins for Civil War because there was a lot of them. So I didn't read all of them.
So
Um,
apparently there's like a own X-Men Civil War series,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is kind
each so Civil War was this great big event, and then like X-Men would have their Civil War story that would tie into the main storyline, and then Fantastic Four would have their own Civil War story that would tie into their storyline. The only one who didn't really have one was Hulk because he was off the planet. He's the best ever in the world. He's the greatest.
of
But they're actually doing Civil War 2 now, and I'm so far behind on Marvel Comics that I can't even pick that up because I am so far behind that I'm back on Avengers vs. X-Men. I haven't even finished that.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm quite a ways behind.
Well,
You
I'm
guys
like
hear
10
that they're
steps behind that,
rebooting?
so.
You're 10 steps fine. They're rebooting Power Rangers.
Yeah, the movie. Yeah, I saw the cast photos and everything. I hope it's pretty good. They even
I-
cast Effie. What's her name?
From the Hunger Games, I forget.
Yeah, she's playing what's her name in Power Rangers?
The pink one?
No,
Kimberly?
she's playing the bad lady.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Rita
I don't
Repulsa?
know.
Yeah, she's playing her.
I just know that they're making the black Power Ranger and the yellow Power Ranger like different races.
Well,
So bad.
I'm sure that's to get away from this stereotype in the first Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The Black Ranger was black and the Yellow
Yeah.
Ranger was Asian.
They specifically said like we're not gonna do that, which I thought was funny.
I
Did
don't
you
mind that.
guys?
That doesn't bother me in the slightest.
No,
Bit.
it doesn't bother me either. I think it's probably a good thing. I think they're just exchanging them, but I thought it was
Did you
funny
guys
that needed
hear-
to be the things they said.
There's a new Dragon Ball movie on the way, and Jackie Chan is playing possibly older Goku.
Oh my Lanta.
All right, hold on a fucking second. I haven't heard anything about this, but if it is true,
Confirmed by Jackie Chan on Twitter.
if Jackie
Damn,
Chan
that's true.
is potentially playing an older Goku, um, obviously I don't think the story would revolve around him. So then, what would the story be?
I can't remember because it was like a few weeks ago that I read it, but Akira Toriyama is taking pretty much matters into his own hands after Dragon Ball Evolution, which I've never seen, I will not see ever. And he said that Jackie Chan is confirmed in the cast. I can't remember whether or not the article said he was playing an older Goku, but that's what I remember.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. I bet it'll be good.
Yeah, basically the whole fan base and Akira Toriyama as well, they're just like, yeah, Dragon Ball Evolution, that was bad, right? So now we're going to do it, and we're going to do it my way.
I'm looking it up. I can't find it.
You guys, I am really sad because I'm gonna have to get going.
Okay.
I'm gonna record forever and ever. But until
that's
next
cool.
week.
That is not a problem. We're at like an hour and a half anyway, and we wanted to keep it in that hour and a half to
Yeah.
2 hour bracket, so that's more than okay.
But yeah, so next week, prepare see fucking Batman vs Superman for the love of God, please, so we can talk
We
about
will
it.
we will have comments on that movie for sure.
Yes, because I don't want to. That's the type of movie that I would never want spoiled for me. So if anybody hasn't seen it, please tell me no. Because the first thing I'm gonna say is, "Holy shit! Did you see Batman do this?"
We all have homework.
Yeah, I've probably got the most homework. I still need to see quite a few movies.
But
All
that's
right.
most important. So see it.
Yeah, real talk. Well, I hope you guys have a good week.
Yeah, definitely you too.
I will
Yeah,
talk
see
to
ya.
you guys next week.
Alrighty, catch you guys later.
Bye-bye.